I tell you, the other team, it feels like Green Bay and Seattle in the NFC. It feels like New England and Pittsburgh in the AFC. I've been critical of Mike Tomlin. I think it's a very emotionally driven culture, which is you can have that culture. It's not the culture I prefer in the NFL. A lot of emotion. They play better at home than away. They're like different teams, home and away. But if you look at Pittsburgh's schedule, I mean, it is about as good a schedule as you can get. So they open up. They don't play teams. Their first 3 weeks, they go Cleveland, doesn't really have a legit big-time quarterback. Minnesota, cross your fingers with Sam Bradford. At Chicago, Mitch Trubisky. And then 2 weeks later, it's Jacksonville. The only tough game in the first month they play, month and a half, is at Baltimore. They should be a 4-1 team. Then they end the season with Cleveland at home. So the last game of the year can be a playoff game, playoff positioning game. They start with non-elite quarterbacks outside of Joe Flacco, who many of you don't think is an elite quarterback. Then they get 3 really tough games out of division, Tennessee, Green Bay, and New England, all at home. And again, Pittsburgh's a different team at home than away. They just, under Tomlin, they have been. Big Ben's a better quarterback at home. I think a lot of it's because they're, I was saying this the other day, they almost feel like an NBA culture in the NBA, it's always been about the player. AAU basketball is about the player. Basketball cultures, the player. He's doing ads. He's got a big personality. It's player-driven. The NFL tends to be coach and shield and owner-driven. The Steelers have a little bit about that NBA thing where they got big stars, and their stars talk, and their stars will call out a coach, and their stars will do Facebook Live. They got a big personality. There's a lot of emotion with this team. Now, I think it benefits them greatly when they play at home. Sometimes I've argued they don't always button it up on the road. In big games sometimes, I don't think Pittsburgh's all buttoned up. But I will tell you this. If you look at Pittsburgh's schedule, and you look at that division, by the way, Cincinnati's best defensive players out for a month. The Cleveland's a mess. And I don't know exactly what's going on with Baltimore, but they just haven't felt like they've got the offensive dynamic personnel to beat a Pittsburgh. They don't feel like it now. Last year, Pittsburgh won the division by what? Like 3 games? And Baltimore was second at 8-8, Pittsburgh 11-5. You look at the schedule. Now, I have my AFC playoff predictions. I have the Steelers locked in at 11-5. I went and looked at their schedule this weekend. I think they're going to be better than that. I may have to add a win for them. I feel like the Patriots and the Steelers have kind of separated this year from the AFC. Schedule, quarterbacks, dynamic offensive personnel, and I feel like Green Bay and Seattle have done it in the NFC. I know a lot of people are on Tennessee. Do you trust Tennessee? Do you trust Tennessee? Really? History. Do you trust Tennessee's coaching staff? Do you trust them on the road in a big game, cold weather maybe? I don't. Oakland, I like a lot, but I don't trust that defense. That defense on the back end is not good. One of the weaker secondaries. So I think Oakland's going to be in some, and they have a stadium issue, a little displacement here. I think Oakland's going to be wildly entertaining to watch. Denver's kind of a mess right now. Kansas City doesn't quite have the dynamic quarterback. Chargers are moving in flux. I think it's Oakland's division, but I just don't trust that defense. And I especially don't trust that defense against New England's personnel and Pittsburgh's personnel, because those are offensive machines when they get humming. And I don't think Oakland matches up with those two teams in a big game late in the season. I just don't. Hi, everybody, and thanks for watching. We want you to subscribe here, to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.